15 for fall. I have got 15 clone fragrances. I can't wait to wear this fall. You know, it's still 85, 90 degrees here, and there's just some things that don't work in the heat. I look forward to when it cools off and I can wear my darker, spicier, sweeter, leathery, tobacco kind of fragrances, and that's what you're going to find in this list. Those things that I'm looking at and thinking just another month or two and I'll be able to rock these all day long. This is a great list of clones or dupes, and we're going to go ahead and dive in. But before we do, remember to subscribe if you haven't done that yet. Also give the like button a click if you like it, and let me know down in the comments, what are a couple of your clones for fall that you really can't wait to wear? All right, let's begin. Okay, this first one, this is a brand new pickup. This is Fragrance World's take on Maison Martin Margiela Jazz Club, a fragrance that, surprisingly, we haven't had one of the big Middle Eastern clone houses do a dupe for yet, and this stuff is very good. They did a great job. This is Olfactory Music Fest by Fragrance World, and this fragrance, as you may already know, it's a tobacco cognac fragrance, but it's like cigar tobacco with a little bit of smoke, even a little bit of an ash with a little bit of booziness, and it really is a little ash and a little booziness, and then you've got a decent amount of spice, you've got a decent amount of sweetness, so it is a tobacco fragrance like there's many others, but there's something unique that sets it apart a little bit. There's also a good bit of woodiness in this fragrance that I didn't mention. So again, Olfactory Music Fest by Fragrance World. It's a pretty new fragrance, but it sold out when it came out, but now you can actually find it again as of the recording of this video. All right, next up, this is another new pickup for me. This one is an alternative to BDK Gris Charnel. This is Lattafa's Liam Gray. And so this is a black tea fig fragrance. It's got a little bit of that fig kind of green fruitiness with a good dose of black tea. Some people say it smells like Earl Grey tea. I don't fully get that, but it does have cardamom for a little bit of spiciness. In the base, you've got some vanilla, you've got some tonka bean, some patchouli. So there is some sweetness mixing with a dark tea vibe. So I could see where people get Earl Grey from. I would say this one leans a little more mature. I can't imagine guys in their late teens, early 20s wanting to wear this. But if you want something dark, mysterious, sweet, and unique, it's really good stuff. I can't wait to wear it when it cools off. Liam Gray. All right, next up, this one's been around for a while. Most of the fragrances in this video are new, or at least fairly new, but this one's been out for a couple years. I would say maybe a year and a half, 2 years, and this is an alternative to Xerjoff Naxos, one of the best tobacco fragrances ever made, in my opinion. This is Paris Corner's Emir Vue Elegante. And they did a really good job with this one. You've got this sort of honey tobacco with a good bit of vanilla. You've also got a little bit of spiciness. It is a tobacco fragrance that I think works great even for beginners to tobacco. Whereas I would say the Jazz Club alternative, maybe not everybody would love that one, but if you like sweet fragrances with a little bit of spiciness, this would be a great first try of tobacco fragrances. Naxos is considered a masterpiece, and they did a really good job of capturing the essence. Paris Corner Emir Vue Elegante. All right, next up, this is one that I've been wearing in the evenings. I just couldn't help myself. I've wanted this fragrance since it came out, and it's been sold out, but you can buy it now. This is F.A. Paris, or French Avenue, which is higher end of Fragrance World, Spectre Wraith. This is their take on Black Phantom. I love the Black Phantom DNA. You've got a powerful booziness from rum. Then you've got some coffee. You've got some chocolate. So there's a very sort of dark, kind of gourmand sweetness, but that rum really does set it apart. It actually smells like rum, and they did a great job of capturing that note in particular. There's also a touch of woodiness in this fragrance. If you want something dark, this is what Batman wears on date night right here. Black Phantom alternative, Spectre Wraith. This stuff is awesome. All right, next. This is one that, I mean, I don't know if there's anybody out there who doesn't like the way this fragrance smells. I think it is absolutely awesome. It's overpriced, but I kind of get it because it's such a great fragrance. This is Armaf's, one of their newer fragrances, maybe their newest. It's Précieux 1, Club de Nuit Précieux 1. The presentation on this thing was over the top. It came with this hard plastic coffret with this leather-like wraparound. It was gorgeous, this felt flap around it, but it was like 65 bucks whenever I bought it. Now it's down to about 55, but this is an alternative to Creed Absolute Aventus, but I like this one better. It's got a caramel and pear in the opening. It's also got some lemon, it's got some bergamot, so it's got you know, something that will remind you a little bit of the Club de Nuit Creed Aventus dupes, but the sweetness in this one is absolutely gorgeous. And then you go down into the rest of the fragrance that is pretty much a one-to-one match with Absolute Aventus. So you've got some woodiness, you've got some spiciness, you've got the vanilla and the leather. It's a beautiful fragrance. I actually think it's worth the price at 55 bucks. It's an extrait de parfum. 4 sprays is all you need. Armaf Club de Nuit Précieux. I love this stuff. Next up, this is one that I broke out again a couple weeks ago and I've been wearing it. I love this fragrance. It smells so very good. And this one is an alternative to Dolce & Gabbana The One Luminous Night. This is Fragrance World's Moonlit Night, and it is just such a gorgeous fragrance. It's a sweet fragrance with a good bit of sort of mysterious patchouli in there, but there is this resinous kind of frankincense kind of a vibe that mixes with this kind of dates sweetness. It's a really delicious fragrance with a real kind of dark and mysterious vibe. I think, you know, Luminous or Moonlit Night was really a good name for it. Check this stuff out. A great alternative to the usually, $150 to $200 Dolce & Gabbana fragrance that is really hard to get. Next up, this is one that I bought the original of and liked it so much. I thought, man, when are they going to come out with a dupe? And then they did. And of course, I had to pick it up. This is an alternative to Dior Fahrenheit Les Parfums. This is Fragrance World's Reinheit Parfum. And this is basically that violet leaf leather kind of ozonic, almost petrol scent that you get in the original Fahrenheit, but they added in some rum and some vanilla. So again, a little booziness and a little bit of vanillic sweetness. It really significantly changes the way that this fragrance smells. It's gorgeous, it's unique, and this is probably 90% close to the original Reinheit Parfum by Fragrance World. All right, next up. Now, I did not realize when I put this list together, there's a lot of Fragrance World in here, but I'm looking right now, and out of the 12, there's probably 5 or 6 that are Fragrance World. All right, next up. This one is a gorgeous alternative to Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé, which was kind of a boozy, little bit more gourmand take on Givenchy Gentleman EDP, and they did a really good job with it. This is Fragrance World's one of their sub-houses, and this is called Al Fakir. And this one is really more like in between Givenchy Gentleman EDP and Reserve Privé. It's not quite as boozy as Reserve Privé actually is, and so it's somewhere right in the middle, but man, it smells so good. It's an iris fragrance. It smells so very good. I actually haven't smelled this in probably a couple months because this is one of my fall fragrances I'm waiting for. It is an iris fragrance with a good bit of sweetness and a good bit of darkness, but that booziness does add something extra. And I would recommend this if you can find it. I haven't looked it up for a while, but Al Fakir Reserve Privé Alternative. All right, next up. Now, I have a confession to make, and that is that the first 3, 4, 5 times I smelled Tom Ford Oud Wood, I didn't really like it. I just thought, you know, I got a lot of other things. Why would I want to wear that? But this is absolutely an acquired taste, and it's one that you'll crave once you kind of catch the bug for oud wood and things that smell like it. And one of the things that smells like it that is like a $25 or less alternative is this one right here, Fragrance World Oud Wonder. This is a great dupe of oud wood. There's a touch more of the Magif material, Lily of the Valley. That's the word that I'm looking for. There's a touch more of that Lily of the Valley kind of fabric softener freshness in this one, just a touch more, because there's a good bit of that in oud wood. And then you go down into woodiness and an authentic smelling oud, even though it's totally synthetic, it's not fake. You know, they captured somehow the way that oud wood smells in a $25 fragrance, which is kind of a feat. And so again, this is Oud Wonder by Fragrance World. Next, this is one that I've actually been wearing in the summer, but I think it's probably really made for the fall. I'm talking about this one right here, the Envy of Fomo. This is a dupe of Gucci Envy, a discontinued hype beast, darling of the fragrance community. This stuff is so very good. It's a barbershop fragrance with that sort of aromatic, almost minty freshness in the opening, but it's also got some leather, it's got some incense, it's got some tobacco, it's got a good bit of darkness and sort of like an earthy tobacco, even smoky feel. I would never have thought to mix that barbershop freshness with those darker notes, but they did, and man did it work. Great alternative to Gucci Envy right here, which is a discontinued, very expensive fragrance, the Envy of Fomo. All right, let's go with this one next. This one's an alternative to Amouage Reflection Man, which is a very beautiful, versatile, white floral fragrance for men. And this is Kage Shiaka. It's the one with the red label. There's also a blue label out there, but this one is going to get you quite close to Reflection Man. You've got this ylang-ylang kind of floral vibe. It's got a good bit of powderiness. It's also quite aromatic. So you've got something that in a weird way has been compared often to the original Le Male, even though it has almost zero notes in common, but it's a similar sort of sweet aromatic fragrance, not overly sweet. It's got a similar kind of powdery vibe. So anyway, really good stuff. Shiaka from Kage. Highly recommended right there. Okay, next I'm going to show you two from Generic Perfumes. This is a brand I don't think a lot of people know about, but some of their dupes are absolutely insane. Super good. This one is an alternative to Kilian Apple Brandy, which is sort of a dry, woody, surprisingly dry, woody, not a lot of sweetness, apple fragrance. And this is just Generic Perfumes Apple Brandy. This is their A+ version. It's a long lasting. This is a fragrance that isn't, you know, there's some similarities to even Parfums de Marly Greenly, similar kind of woody and apple, although I would say this one is more weighty, it's more thick, probably geared a little more towards cool weather, but great alternative to that one. I can't wait to get in the mail, which is on the way, Paris Corners Mauge Appletini, which is apple brandy on the rocks. It should be here in a few days, which is a sweeter take on a similar DNA. All right, this one from Generic Perfumes is, to date, the best dupe of Kilian's Intoxicated that I've found. This is their version of Intoxicated. This is their A+ version. This is twice as good as Paris Corners Emir You're Drugged. The reason why is because that one, the coffee note is so dominant and it's a little bit of a sour coffee that it kind of ruined the fragrance as something that I want to wear over and over again. This one, they just nailed that sweet, I would say maybe creamy coffee, as well as that spice and that aromatic vibe and a little bit of booziness. This stuff right here is awesome. Intoxicated A+, that chocolatey, coffee, spicy, aromatic goodness. They nailed it, and can't wait to wear this one in the fall. All right, this one right here. This was probably my favorite pickup of last year. And man, this stuff, I can't wait to wear it again. I probably went through a quarter of the bottle of this stuff last year. This is Fragrance World's alternative to Parfums de Marly Wajan, and this is Legion. You know, Wajan is often known as kind of an apple pie sort of fragrance. And this one has that fruitiness in the opening. It's got the cinnamon sweetness from Wajan, but I would say maybe even a little more cinnamon than Wajan. I love this fragrance. It is a cinnamon bomb. It's very close to Wajan, but this is the most cinnamon forward fragrance in my collection. If you want some very interesting, very loud, gorgeous, cinnamon, fruity fragrance, then this one right here, Legion, is going to get the job done for you. Check it out. All right, and finally, number 12. This is one that surprised me whenever I picked it up. Number one, because it was quite similar to the original, which I don't own. And two, I never bought the original because I wasn't in love with it in stores, but I picked this up for 25 bucks and now am in love with it. This is Armaf's Odyssey Mandarin Sky, and this is a dupe or an alternative to Scandal, the original Scandal by Jean-Paul Gaultier. And this is a gorgeous, sweet, gourmand fragrance. I believe there is some caramel or toffee, some sort of a very sweet note like that with vanilla, but then it's got this powerful aromatic heart, like sort of like a minty, rosemary, juniper kind of powerful aromatic heart mixing with those sweet gourmand notes. I never would have thought to put those together, but man, does it work well. Odyssey Mandarin Sky by Armaf. And so there's 12 alternatives to fall fragrances or dupes that I can't wait to wear here in the next couple months as it begins to cool down. Let me know down in the comments, what would you add to the list? Also, remember to give a click to the like button if you like the video and subscribe. I'm Justin. This is Sillage Scents.